Hello.
Hello.
Afternoon. Hi, Diego. It is
Hi.
the 26th of June, and here in Germany, it's a little bit after 4 in the afternoon. And with us, we have Diego, and Diego is story number 18. Diego, please tell us about yourself. Who are you?
Of course. Nice to meet you. My name is Diego Pinheiro. I'm from Brazil. I'm living in a small town near to São Paulo. It's a big city in Brazil. I'm working as a journalist from an independent online journal based in São Paulo called O Prefácio. From then, I wrote many of stories, but actually, I am working hard with news from the pandemic, and I'm 26 years old, just for 1 month till now.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank
And
you.
so you just told us you're a journalist, and right now you are focusing and writing a lot of stories on the pandemic.
Right.
Is this how it has changed at work? Is this so before you were not doing that and now you're doing this? Is that the main change, or are there other changes between what you used to do before the pandemic began and now?
Okay. First of all, with this journal, I always work from home office.
Okay.
But I must say the production has changed a little bit because before the pandemic, I always try to write about things that are not in the mainstream journalism world.
Okay.
But for the about the necessity from the pandemic to inform the people about what is going on, I start to focus me on the production of a lot of things about the pandemic. Uh, Actually, I am working with a friend about a story about, how can I say, the reality in Brazil if the vaccine comes.
Okay.
What will change? What the society will do with
Mhm.
with the vaccine, if everybody will be vaccinated, or will wait a little bit to be able to go in hospitals to be
So,
to have the vaccine.
so focused on also not only when the vaccine is a reality, but also the distribution within Brazil.
Yes, of course.
That, yeah, that's the hope. And it is true. One of the things that is not often spoken about when we speak about the vaccine is the fact that it's not only about creating and having it
Yes.
available, but it's
Mhm.
also the organization that goes behind distributing it, right? Who
Yes,
gets it
right.
first? Why? Is it because they gave more money, or is it because their
Yeah,
country is worse off? So will be an interesting story to read for sure.
yeah.
And
I'm
and
excited
how,
for it.
yeah, I will definitely read it. And of course, Brazil is a need.
Yeah.
Talking about Brazil, tell me, what is it that is happening right now? So what's the most important topic? What are the most important news that are happening right now in your country? Because as we know, the latest numbers of Brazil are that you have over 1.2 million cases, confirmed cases, and you have over 55,000 deaths.
Yeah.
It's they're very stark numbers, unfortunately. And tell us a little bit, what are people talking about right now?
Okay.
What's the
Okay.
topic?
Now, the Brazilian people are talking about the return of education universe uh, since I think April, maybe March. All the schools are closed because of the pandemic,
Mhm.
but a lot of I don't know how to say um, organizations from the education universe are discussing about the necessity of return that activity of the education here, and the federal government says this type of thing we return maybe in August,
Okay.
but it's not clear yet because a lot of children and a lot of teachers are afraid of the risk of the contagious.
Yeah.
So the strongest topic now is about that. But as I said to you days ago, there was a story about a scandal about the press assessor of the son's president. He was in jail
Mm.
inside of a friend of president's house. So it's very hard to believe that our president are is not giving the right say that
The right importance to the
yes
pandemic.
from the pandemic. So what we gonna do with this type of government? I am shocked. I don't know how to work with that.
You know, it's unfortunately Brazil is having a problem with their government, with the reality that unfortunately the government hasn't done the
Yes.
necessary things, the necessary measures in order to stop, to prevent the spread of the virus.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, it has happened to Brazil, but it also is the reality of many countries in the world. And I was actually speaking to a couple other people in the last few days, also interviewing them,
Mm-hmm.
people from very, very different backgrounds, very, very different countries, and even the situation that their countries are in, very different to Brazil, to Germany, where I live.
Mm-hmm.
But many of the problems are the same. The reasons might be different, but the problems are the same. And
Mm-hmm.
wherever we see a problem with the government, so the relationship between the citizens and the government, if there's a lack of trust, if there's an issue between, if there's bad experience, past experiences,
Mm-hmm.
the response to the pandemic has been lacking, has been bad. And unfortunately, it is true also all over Latin America. It's not only
Yes.
Brazil, but right
Mm-hmm.
now, I saw that yesterday, the number of new cases was around 40,000 in one day. And a few days
Yes.
earlier, it was around 55,000 in one day. Brazil is very close to, or is very similar with the United States also. The United
Yes.
States,
Mm-hmm.
in the last few weeks, months, their average has been around 20,000 cases per day. In the last few days, those cases have also increased to around
Mm-hmm.
33,000 a day. So that makes you see that it doesn't matter if you are a country that technically should have done well, like
Mm-hmm.
the United States. It's very, very similar. What I saw, when was it? I think a week ago, or a little bit longer than a week ago, an amazing video on social media. I am unaware who produced it, but whoever created it is incredible. And it's a video that shows the Brazilian people saying enough, that you will each work for each other. You don't care anymore what the government is or is not doing, that you will fight for the 3%, you know? That it's not, for those that are not familiar with Brazil, and of course tell me more about it, the situation is that unfortunately the President Bolsonaro from the beginning has downplayed the pandemic, has downplayed the severity of the virus, has joked about it too, saying it is just like the flu, has continuously not worn a mask, has continuously shake hands with people, did events and gatherings where there was no social distance. And a few weeks ago, he also publicly said, what can you do? Everybody must die one day. And I saw this amazing video the next day, like very, very fast it was created, and it went around on social media showing that no, it's not okay even if one person, one Brazilian dies. How is the atmosphere? How is the feeling? Is it still this unity that was created the next day after his remarks, or what is it? How is it?
I was talking about that with many of sources in my stories from the journal, and I was realizing that people are concerned about the days after the pandemic here in Brazil. What is change? Uh, what will be the society, you know? And everybody says a unique thing. The behaviors will be more concerned about the feelings with each other, um, the connectivity with each other. So, as you said, the Brazilian president are a joker, as I can say that, and at the very start of the pandemic um, was making a jokes with the USA president, saying that he was a friend of him because the believers are similar. The two of them believes that uh, the coronavirus was like a flu. It's not a thing to be concerned about, but now the things are changed so deeply here. Everybody, at the beginning, me too was um, not giving the pandemic the right um, the right
Yeah.
the right thing. But as I start to read the news and to walk outside my house, I was seeing the people wearing masks, and I definitely sit in my chair and thought it was going on very quickly. So I need to do my part. So this day at this day, I start to searching about the pandemic and write about the things about the pandemic.
So you just mentioned the masks. I read, when was it? I think 2 days ago. Today's Friday. Yeah, 2 days ago that the federal court in Brazil announced that President Bolsonaro has to wear now a mask when he goes in public, or he would be fined 350 euros, if I'm not mistaken, a day for not wearing one. And the reason for this is because up until now, so end of June, he has stubbornly not wanted to wear a mask. It's been 2 days since the news, a little bit. Has the news died down in Brazil? Are they still talking about it? Has President Bolsonaro appeared in public already? And if he has he worn a mask or no?
I was searching about that before we start the interview, and I saw something interesting. The mayor from São Paulo city was contaminated. I don't know how to say that.
He was what, sorry?
I will search here. Just a second.
Yeah. He was infected or no?
Yeah.
Infected.
Infected from the coronavirus, and he was ordered to go home and stay there for maybe 2 weeks from his doctor. And yesterday he returns to the job, but the Bolsonaro's universe are joking with the major's reality. Bolsonaro was talking about, oh, you're such a idiot to go in your home and stay there just to wait the imaginary flu.
So still
go away.
So still not taking it
seriously.
Still making.
Unfortunately, he continues to think about that. Think about this type of things. It's horrifying. I don't know where it's going on. I don't know. But I must say, I truly believe Bolsonaro's will not resist many times from now. I think.
I hope not, because if he
Me too.
If he doesn't change his attitude
yes.
and his response towards the pandemic, then he really doesn't deserve to be there, because he is the leader. He has all these millions of lives in his hands. So all the citizens of Brazil, they follow his examples. He makes the rules. And you know, the reaction of President Trump and the reaction of President Bolsonaro at the beginning was the reaction. Also, you mentioned that even you at the beginning, you were a bit skeptical about the virus. You didn't think it was that serious. But the difference is that you informed yourself. You started wondering, you started understanding. And once you understood, you took it seriously. And many other presidents and many other people from around the world that were like you changed their mind and started reacting and acting. Unfortunately, President Bolsonaro is not one of them. And it seems that no matter how much noise the Brazilian people do, and how much also noise the international community and the international media outlets do, because of course we write, we see, we read about reports on Brazil from other countries. And just like there is horror when we think of the United States, there is horror when we think of Brazil.
Yes.
It's it's really sad. And I don't know, I can see that also from what you were saying before. There's sadness, there is fear, obviously, Um, because your healthcare system wasn't that good to begin it with, correct?
Yes.
Also.
About that, I will just complete your because until now, in the Bolsonaro's government, we have we had three different ministers of health. Three. Nobody could stay with this job because Bolsonaro's shoot them from this job. I don't know.
And this is now, we're talking about the changes happening now this year with the pandemic.
Yes.
So it's, yeah.
Another thing I would say is last year, before all this start, Bolsonaro's retired uh, all the investments from the camps of health, search, and all the things around that. But now he's wondering if these scenarios don't work, our country will broke in many parts. So it's strange how he changed his mind, but in the same way he maintained very strong his beliefs about the flu. I I really can't understand his thoughts. I can't understand. And now one of the things I am searching for from this my new story is really that point. Even last year, Bolsonaro's make don't give all the importance from this type of universe, the youth, the search.
Health, yeah.
Yeah. Now he's doing that, but I think it's not because he's concerned, really concerned, but about the pressure from other camps of the government,
Could be. It's
making him do that.
either way, if it's the pressure of other branches from the government or other people or the citizen, or it's his concern, either way, it's positive for Brazil. But it would have been nice if it was done earlier, of course,
Yes.
faster. Remaining just in the topic with healthcare system, one of the things that Brazil has, which makes it harder also to be able to respond to this pandemic, are the favelas. Can you tell us a little bit about that? How has the response been? How is it for the people there? Just tell us a little bit about that, because it remains with the fact that you mentioned that the healthcare system before the pandemic was suffering in Brazil. And now with the pandemic, it is obviously worse. And the favelas are one area that is most difficult, right?
In one of my stories, I was talking about a specialist from it's called something like coronavirus search from São Paulo city. He was a searcher about how the coronavirus was changed the São Paulo scenario, and he was wondering at that time about the favelas. I remember he saying to me, uh, this type of things, washing hands and making distance from yourself, it's a thing um, from the media class. I don't know how can I say.
It's a thing of the privileged, those that have
Yes,
water, those
because
that
when
have.
you are living in a favelas world, you can make distance. You live with 5, 6, 7 people in only one room. So you can make that. How can we work with the pandemic with this type of people? So some one of them even don't have something to clean his hands. So it's a tragic scenario, but I must say uh, the horrifying scenario until now was when the coronavirus started to come to Amazonas. When coronavirus start the pandemic in Amazonas was a scenario of chaos, I must say, because there were not a sufficient uh, um, hospitals to treat the people, and many of them were dying. But now I wrote I know Amazonas is clean, is a safe place
Right now,
to live now.
and it needs to be kept that way.
Yeah, São Paulo and Rio de Janeiro are the worst places to live. So I am concerned because I live in a city just miles away from São Paulo, and my region was called the next focus of the pandemic in the state of São Paulo. So I really can't go outside my house now, even to breathe an air, because starting a scenario of chaos here too. That's
And
the reality.
and Diego, now that you mentioned that the where you live is considered and that it will be the next hotspot,
Yeah.
the next outbreak there in Brazil and of the city of Sao Paulo. You just said, of course, that you're afraid and you don't know what's going to happen, and you can't even get out of your house or go out of your house. And I just thought about one thing. Here in Germany, thankfully, at least in the area where I live, even though it was a little bit difficult at the beginning when everybody started doing it, after a few weeks it was okay with online delivery. So to order things from the supermarket to be brought at home. How is the situation there where you live, or in Brazil in general? Do they have, is it easy or easier to have groceries delivered at home?
Now, this type of thing is growing here. Uh, Me personally, um, I'm receiving a lot of my dog's food because I can go away. But I know too. It was one search about the fashion university here from Brazil, and the conclusion about this study was uh, the online universe and was growing up much hard here. Uh, even a lot of stores are closing doors because there's no clients.
Mm.
Uh, a lot of others stores are
Going bankrupt.
investing in the online universe.
Ah, yeah, of course. Yeah,
You
investing
know,
so they're able.
yeah, and a lot of rich women that I know are making wishes in in online scenario
Mm.
and receiving products. So I think the online universe will be opportunity here to continue to live. You
For
know?
sure. So then that means that right now, it is possible that you are. It is okay for you to stay home. You don't need to go out. Correct.
Yeah,
You work from
right.
home. You
Mm-hmm.
get your dog's food delivered home, and you
Yeah,
also get your groceries delivered home.
yeah,
That is a privilege also.
yeah. But I must say, my um, psychologic
Of
uh,
course, yeah. Your mental health
was,
is different.
but conscious is bigger than the necessity of go away.
Yes. It's very difficult, and
Yeah.
you have already said spoken to us a little bit about the things that were done or not done. You mentioned that, for instance, one of the topics that people are talking about, that it's on the news right now in Brazil, is also when school can start again, when can students
Mm-hmm.
go to school,
Mm-hmm.
and how, correct? Because
Mm-hmm.
you said there's the fear also from students, from teachers, of what if they get infected.
Mm-hmm.
And that has been something that has been in the works and here in Europe. But of course, depending on what country you're in and how good your schooling, your educational system is, it depends on that, how possible it has been. And even countries like, again, Germany, I speak of Germany because
Mm-hmm.
we live here.
Uh-huh.
In Germany, their schools have opened for children. But even though Germany is one of the countries that has done very well, relatively well compared to other countries, there are still problems. So they open a school, and after a couple of weeks, they have to close the school because there's an
Uh-huh.
outbreak. The teacher that gets
Uh-huh.
sick, the kid that gets sick. But one thing that obviously helps is the contact tracing.
Mm-hmm.
So knowing, okay, everybody stop, these are the kids, these are the teacher, who do they see, where do they go, we need to test also their acquaintances, their family, their friends.
Mm-hmm.
How is the situation in Brazil with testing? How is the situation in Brazil with contact tracing? So being able to know who you came into contact potentially with.
I know the searches from Oxford about the vaccine started to make the tests last week here in São Paulo
For the
about the,
vaccine.
yeah.
But I'm saying the testing to know if you have or not, if you're
Oh,
infected
okay,
or not.
okay. Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
so the testing, and then if for instance you are positive, the
Mm-hmm.
contact tracing to know, okay, Diego saw
Okay.
Manuel, Diego saw Laura, and we have to
Mm-hmm.
also test them.
Okay.
How is the situation there?
There is a testing going on here, but all the healthcare system are saying you 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 can make the test only if you had some kind of symptoms,
Mm.
you know. You because here the panic starts to, how can I say that, uh, to command all the society's universe, you know.
Mm.
Everybody was trying to make the test even if they don't had the symptoms, just to make sure that these people was not testing positive from the coronavirus.
Mm.
So just if you had uh, the symptoms, you can make the test. If you don't feel any of the symptoms, you can just rest in your home and wait.
And wait.
The you know, my dad at the beginning was working in a industry, and when he comes back, it was the start of the panic around the coronavirus,
Mm.
and he starts to um, feeling bad. I remember he was with headache, with uh, just a second. I will check this to not say okay. He was feeling fever either,
Mm-hmm.
and me and my mom was thought about, oh geez, my dad was
Great.
with coronavirus. So what we made here was to rest my dad in a separate room
So I see.
from 2 weeks maybe, and even after these 2 weeks pass, we we made we made a distance from him, maybe a meter and a half,
Just to be sure.
to be sure. And weeks after,
Mm-hmm.
my mom's too starts to feeling bad, and so we didn't know if it was coronavirus, because even if it was just a typical flu, we we can to make sure about that. So to prevent ourselves,
From getting
we
infected.
made the same thing. One room for 2 weeks. Now everybody here is safe.
It's another difficult thing of this virus indeed is
Mm-hmm.
you, unfortunately, it doesn't mean that if you have symptoms, only if you have symptoms, then it means you're infected,
Yes,
because it can also be
asymptomatic.
or pre-symptomatic, asymptomatic or
Yeah.
pre. So before you
Mm-hmm.
show your symptoms, in those 3, 4, 5 days before,
Mm-hmm.
that's when you're infecting.
Mm-hmm.
So it's quite difficult, and because it is difficult, how is Brazil dealing with the contact tracing? So
Mm-hmm.
finding who you came into contact with,
Mm-hmm.
testing those people, isolating
Mm-hmm.
those people. How is it? How does it work? Is it working? Or
So I'm sorry if I am coming a lot of days before the pandemic, but it's just to contextualize
of course, no.
to you.
This is her story, Diego. So
I remember at the beginning, everybody was not understand what is going on, but everybody is keeping touch so closely, and in a few days after, everybody was changing her lives. Now I know that my sister in a separate case is a psychology.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to say that.
Psychologist, yeah.
Yeah, and she's working with home office, but sometimes she goes to his job place.
Mm-hmm.
But she works in his room in the with the patient,
Mm-hmm.
but with miles away, you know, with protection in his
Mm-hmm.
desks, protection everywhere. But about the concern of contact tracing, uh, shoppings are start to open here, and oh, say
But
please.
I think maybe it's language thing, not social distance, contact tracing.
Okay,
So
sorry.
if you get tested and you are positive, what
Mm-hmm.
is the government doing in order to know who was in contact with Diego? Who did Diego see? We need to test the other people, or you don't really know about it.
No, it's nothing was was made about that. I must say, you know.
So right, for instance, in Germany, there is a application for the for your phone, for your
Mm-hmm.
smartphone,
Mm-hmm.
that was just launched a week ago. We
Mm-hmm.
already have 12 million people that have downloaded it. And
Okay.
it basically shows you when you're walking around who had the virus, who didn't. And so it's easier for the government also to be able to say, okay, Laura has it, she has it here, then we need to go and see about if her husband, if
Mm-hmm.
she got in touch with her husband or not. So
Okay.
that's the contact tracing. And in Brazil, it's no.
There's nothing similar of that. Nothing. If you are positive of a coronavirus, you are positive. It's just that.
Okay, so they
But
don't look at the family, the friends, the
no,
acquaintances.
there's nothing to make the federal government is making nothing about the contact tracing here.
Okay,
If
so,
you have, stay home. That's the meaning, you
so
know?
it makes it more difficult. How can you
Yeah,
stop the spread? You don't know
yeah.
where it is. You don't know where it's going, and
It's beautiful when you said in Germany you have this app to inform the government about who is feeling bad or what
who
what,
had
what
it or who is tested positive.
yeah. But here we have nothing. If you feeling bad, feel bad, stay home. That's what everybody's saying.
And of course, it is a correct thing to do. If you are
Yeah,
sick, you have to stay home. You should
yeah.
not go out. But it cannot be the only thing, because, like we were talking about before, some people never get sick, and some
Mm-hmm.
people are infecting other people those 3, 4, 5 days before they feel symptoms. So
Mm-hmm.
it is correct to say if you don't feel well, stay at home, but it
Yeah,
cannot be the only thing.
yeah. It's not enough.
It's not enough. No, you
It's not
need to
enough.
do testing, you need to do contact tracing, you need to isolate. And yeah, President Bolsonaro needs to wear that mask so
Yeah.
everybody sees and follows by example. To continue, because we've spent a lot of time talking about what is happening currently in the country,
Mm-hmm.
what are people
Mm-hmm.
talking about, and so on. Just
Mm-hmm.
you already told us a little bit about the measures that the president took. and the government took in order to stop the spread. Is there something else that you want to add, that you want to say about what was done in the last few months in order to stop the spread?
I know uh, uh, cities with C here, you know, are blocking the entrance from people,
Okay.
but at the same time, the beaches are with many people, I must say. You know, when the government makes how can I say, you know, it's a similar word in Spanish, feriado.
Filiado.
Yeah, you know,
Filiado.
I will search here to know.
Filiado. No, I can't think about it.
Holiday.
Oh, holiday.
Yeah.
Feriado.
Yeah, it's like a week of holiday.
Yeah.
To try to stop the coronavirus, the contagious.
Mm.
But the population saw that with an opportunity to have fun. You know?
Unfortunately, Diego, that is a problem that even here in Europe we are seeing. It is summer here. The days are
Okay.
getting longer and hotter and prettier, and the sun is shining and it's hot, so people are going outside and congregating. And yesterday we saw some pictures in the UK of beaches being completely full. And of course, there's a lower risk if you're outside, but that is if you are socially distancing, if you're wearing a mask, if you're moving. But if you're all together in one place for a long time without social distancing, without a mask, without being careful, it is a problem. So it's not only in Brazil.
Okay.
It is also here in Europe.
I wrote yesterday about the Spanish reality. After the flexibilization, the positive cases starts to growing again.
Spain, exactly. Now that you mention, has quite a number of outbreaks right now.
Yeah.
In the country, and it also has been thinking about and has opened their frontiers, so their borders, so anybody can come in to Spain from anywhere, based almost anywhere, and they don't have to do quarantine. So Spain, it's also
a separate case, I think.
Yeah, it's difficult everywhere, because you mentioned that the people took the opportunity, the advantage of going to the beach and you know, having fun because of the holiday. That is the problem. People are forgetting. They are forgetting that there's a pandemic. They're ignoring there's a pandemic. And the pandemic does not forget you and does not ignore you. That is the problem. And it doesn't matter if you're in Brazil or if you're in Europe, it's the same story. Talking about the pandemic not forgetting you and you not forgetting the pandemic, can you tell me, when was it that you realized that there was something going on
Strange.
something strange, that
Mm-hmm.
it was more serious than what you thought, that the
Mm.
pandemic, the situation was worse than what people were saying and what you were thinking? Was there a specific moment, or was it gradual, or maybe you saw something in the news, you read some, I don't know. Was there one moment?
It was gradual because when coronavirus comes to Brazil, was the first case was based in Mato Grosso do Sul state. It was a place far, far away from here where I live, but was one case in the question of 1 week, I think. The number of cases growing very, very quickly in the country, and affects the São Paulo universe, uh, which which is where I live closely. And when I realized that, I was thinking, I really need to make something about that. So that was what I said to you before. I start to searching about, and when I wrote uh, some type of things about the contagious system,
Mm-hmm.
I was shocked because it was simply, it was simple to be positive of coronavirus.
It's a very contagious disease. Yes, that is the.
So when I wrote that, I sit in my chair and thought up harder and harder. What can I do about that? So that was when the universe of masks starts to grow in here.
Mm.
The news about the masks, the proven, was starting to grow here, and I start to wear the masks to prevent myself.
And to help others, right? Because
Yeah,
that
right.
the masks, that's, it lowers the risk of infecting others, and it has been proven lowers the
Mm-hmm.
transmission rate. And it is, I wear it to protect you, you wear it
Mm-hmm.
to protect me, and that's,
Yeah.
we should all wear it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. um so it was a gradual but quite fast also, right?
Yeah.
That
Yeah. Right.
realization and then reaction to it.
Mm-hmm.
And based on that experience of yours, that you understood the severity of this virus, and you have been following, because you're a journalist, you have been following what is happening in the world, what has happened in the world, but
Mm-hmm.
also obviously in the Sao Paulo area and Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
Can you just tell me a little bit, in the based on what has happened in the last few months, what are your hopes? What are your concerns? What is it that you think is going to happen in the next few days, in the next few
Mm-hmm.
weeks, that you want to happen, that you don't want to happen? Just tell us a little bit about that, your thoughts, your
Mm-hmm.
hopes, your concerns.
I want, but at the same time, I don't want, because I know it brings me a big risk of contagious. But I want to start to walk outside my house, you know, just a little bit, see some houses, some stars, the moon. Uh, but at the same time, I am concerned about, okay, I am going outside my home, but I can be contagious at the same time, but I am wondering just, I know the Brazilian people are can't stay at home anymore. Everybody is starting to being crazy, you know?
Need to get out.
Yeah. And so I think if the quarantine continues here, the population will start to broken the rules, to start
Ignore the rules.
yeah, to walking outside, talking with each other, um, because as I spoke to anthropology from Portugal, uh, there are some societies that basically live with the liberty, you know.
Yeah.
Brazil, Portugal, Spain, and even the Latin societies living with the meaning of liberty. If you uh, retire, you know, if you
Take that.
isolate
Yeah.
this uh, this type of thing, the society will start to transform, to be transformed, and that is what I am concerned about. If we can have the liberty, what will be our scenario after the coronavirus world? You know, will we be less independent, less free, less communicative, talkative?
So you are thinking more about after the pandemic.
Yeah,
But what about in the next days, in the next week?
days.
So in the very near future, I
I
understood that you said that the
uh-huh.
Brazilian people are sick of it, of the
Mm-hmm.
quarantine. So there's also the fear that they're going to break the rules
Mm-hmm.
and then start talking to each other, start gathering, which of course means a higher risk of transmission.
Mm-hmm. But the next days, I have fear about um, the respect of the quarantine.
Yeah.
I think nobody will respect that anymore. Everybody will start to go away, to talk with other people. You know, just live the life. Forget about the coronavirus. I need to leave. I don't need to be in jail. My grandfather me yesterday he is feeling like he is in a jail because he can't go outside his apartment. It's sad to hear that, you know. That's my feeling too. But where I live, I had a little bit more liberty to walk, to breathe, you know. Where he lives is the center, the São Paulo center.
Yeah. No.
So he definitely can go outside his apartment. But my as I said, my fear is that the quarantine will not be functions, you know, will not work anymore.
And until when are you supposed to be in quarantine, in lockdown?
I am in quarantine since February.
But Brazil.
Brazil, the quarantine starts to work since February.
But when does it end? The,
Not don't end, didn't end.
so there's no date.
No
The
date.
Bolsonaro government has not said it finishes in
No,
no.
definitely not. Quarantine is continuing here.
Forever, the whole country.
The whole country. But at the same time, as I said to you, the education system are discussing about the return.
And the return in August, you said.
You know, but the quarantine is here. She never stopped it. You know.
But you see people gathering. You see Bolsonaro and other people in crowds.
No.
A few weeks ago.
No, just in beach.
A few weeks ago, there was Bolsonaro with the horse, riding a horse.
Yeah, I saw that picture.
Yeah, so, and there was a crowd also. So people were outside. So what's the quarantine?
Yeah, you know, as I said to you, nobody will respect the quarantine.
Respect the quarantine, even before, so even now it's worse, yeah.
If Bolsonaro's even respect the quarantine, how can the rest of us respect this rule, you know?
Yeah.
Our government, our president are making things that the WHO, you know, are saying
organization, yeah.
is not
recommended.
It's not recommended to make. Go outside walking with horses.
It's Diego, it has been very sad but very interesting to learn more about not only you and your experience with the pandemic, but also what Brazil is going through.
Mm-hmm.
To finish this conversation today, I just have one more question for you.
Please.
If you could speak to a future Diego, a Diego that is here with us in 14 days, what message would you give this future Diego?
Okay. I would say the future Diego, you are a survivor. You're a survivor. And if you're there now, you can continue to do your job, to inform people about everything and be happy, just that.
I like that message, and it is a strong message. Just continue doing what you're doing. You are a survivor, and be as happy as can be and as cautious.
Yeah.
And Diego, thank you very much for your time. Enjoy your Friday. The weekend is almost here. Try to relax. Okay. And I will see you in 14 days.
Okay, thanks for the invitation.
Thank you. See you in 14 days. Bye, Diego.
See you. Bye.